in this session, we'll be talking about the Ballerina ecosystem, why it is important to us, and what we have done so far. So this will be a short session. It's not meant to be an exhaustive list of things we have done. So starting from, we have many areas that we concentrate when we talk about the Ballerina ecosystem. So you can see a list here, like starting from the messaging capabilities, the technologies we interface with, storage, observability, deployment, CI/CD, tooling, and also like training opportunities as well. So in Ballerina, we have a team that actively looks into the ecosystem, like partnerships and integrations we can do, and we are always improving these sections as well, because as Paul also mentioned, for a new language, it's critical that we expand the ecosystem, or else like it's hard for it to survive and go forward. So let's look at some of the things we have done. So it's a high-level list of the main integrations we have done and the support we have already. So starting with messaging, so we support a few of the leading message brokers out there, like starting from Kafka, and also brokers like ActiveMQ, Cupid, RabbitMQ. So those are supported for the queuing requirements that are there, that you will frequently find when creating solutions. And also we have inbuilt gRPC support as well. So that comes with the standard runtime, which you can use to write services and clients both in Ballerina. So then let's go into the storage options we have. So again, another critical section is the database access. So we have a wide range of support for SQL-related databases, like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, and so on. We support many of the leading SQL like RDBMS systems, and also a few of the NoSQL databases as well, column storage, document-based databases, like MongoDB, Cassandra, Redis, and so on are also supported. And in the case of observability, so you know, like this is also a very important section of the runtime, where it's critical to know what's happening in your services programs and to have rich functionality around this area. So that's why we have a lot of built-in functionality in the language itself for observability features. And also we have like other pluggability support for other solutions as well. So you can see here, so we have done integrations with ELK, Humio, and also for metrics we have Prometheus, Grafana support, and also distributed tracing, Zipkin, Jaeger, and also another partner of ours, Honeycomb. We have done some integrations. And then let's look at deployment side, what we have at the moment, like the prominent options. So you have seen in earlier demos also, so we have out-of-box Docker support and Kubernetes as well, so which is critical nowadays for your microservice architecture. When you have to deploy it in a containerized architecture, you need to have this support. So with this, we also have support for cloud providers like Amazon EKS, Azure, Google Computer Engine, and so on. So those are also supported with these supporting technologies. And then looking at CI/CD, so we have had a partnership with CodeFresh to create a integration with Ballerina and CodeFresh. So we have full support for that. And also Hasura, it's basically a GitOps related system that does CI/CD. So that is also supported. And when looking at tooling for development operations, so we have like full Swagger support for our services and APIs. And so that's there in our the IDEs and the command line tools. And of course, our main development IDEs, we have plugins for IntelliJ IDEA and also Visual Studio Code as well. So, and finally, so we have some partnerships with Ecosystem.io, where we have some Ballerina training options, where you can go and do some exercises, and you can register yourself as a mentor, you can assess these exercises, and so on. So we have done some integrations with that also to take it forward from the Ballerina training angle. So then let's look at, so I mentioned some of these integrations, connectors, and so on we have. Let's look at how we can get access to those. So some of them are inbuilt, and some of them we have to import, we have to get it from an external source and install them. So the main way to do this is using Ballerina Central. So it's a centralized repository that we host for Ballerina. So any Ballerina package you have, you can register in Ballerina Central, and you can push your own packages there. So then other people can come and search for it and use those packages as well. So if you can quickly show how it works. So if you have a command line, you can just say Ballerina search and give a keyword like just searching for email clients and so on. So you can see these options are there, like packages provided by different users. So basically the way to use this would be, you can simply do a Ballerina pull. And that package would be downloaded and installed in your local repository. So after that, you can simply import. OK, I had to refresh that. So after that, you should be able to import that package and use it in your applications. So that's how the Ballerina Central works. So as I said, in the same way, if you have your own project, you can just do a Ballerina pull, and it will go to Central. So then the other option is, so most of the packages are there in Ballerina Central, and also we have some other additional packages that are in our GitHub repo. So especially these packages that contain other external dependencies for native code and so on. So those you can go to GitHub and basically build them separately and use it. So if I show you so you can see here there's a long list of packages as connectors that are here, which you can basically go to, and it has instructions on how to install these packages and the usage of it. So in that way, you can install into the runtime and use it. Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, I would like to take any questions if you have. Yeah.
Hi. By looking at it, it seems Ballerina has most of the capability that enterprise integrator can do. Does that mean it's an end of WSO2 enterprise integrator? If so, is there a migration plan?
So it's not the end of enterprise integration. So it's two styles of doing integration. So Ballerina is more like a code-first approach. Like it's code over config. It's if you want to do like general programming and get to do integration, then we basically made Ballerina for that purpose. Config-based approach would be the existing the EI approach. So so it's we can't say it's the end of EI. So but yeah, it depends on the personal preference also and the approach you will use to develop your integrations. Yeah, Paul, you would like to add more? Sorry? Yeah. Yes.
First approaches are not going away. They're going to be with us for 10 or 15 years and probably longer. You know, anything, you know, it's been such a successful strategy across the industry, and I'm not just talking about ours, I'm talking about everybody's. I think you know, we heard on Tuesday that that although ESB sales are declining by 3% across the industry, open source ESB sales are growing by 40% across the industry. So there is, you know, this is not a dead market. It's, you know, IBM and Software AG and TIBCO are dying, but the open source alternatives are growing strongly. The other thing is that, you know, we believe that, you know, that choice is important for our customers. So while, you know, we strongly believe in Ballerina as a way of doing this, not everyone is ready for this, and not everyone wants to move from config to code. So at the same time as doing this, we're also doing a lot of things to make our ESB, EI, and data services and streaming, which are all kind of in many ways replaced by this, more agile. We're making Docker container versions of these, micro versions of these. We're improving our developer tooling. So our view is that, you know, we're going to produce amazing tools. We're going to try and make our customers as agile as possible. And some of those people would love Ballerina, and some of them will love the old things, and we're here to help you with either of those.
Okay. That means EI is going to stay for some more time.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are following almost 2 years the WSO2 products, and then we have seen a lot of changes recently. If you see application server got knocked off, and then DSS and ESP and BPM got merged into EI. Yeah. And then so it's a fast change. So that's why we wanted to know if EI will go away when Ballerina comes. No. So we are going to support both the Synapse language and the Ballerina language in a future version of EI. We have just launched our micro version of EI that is part of the Docker containerization strategy. So that's in the latest release. We have a 10-year long-term support commitment to all our products. So absolutely not. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Great. Yes.
There's a question over here.
Hello. Thank you for the presentation. I have a question regarding live implementations with Ballerina.
Sorry?
Are there any live production implementations with Ballerina nowadays?
So we have some customers who are in production. A few, yes. They are not like paying customers for us, but they have done their own deployments. So there is a few.
So HP and Motorola are both in production, and there are some others. I shouldn't really name those either, but.
And the other question I have is regarding testing. You mentioned the CI/CD tools, but I haven't seen many examples of unit and integration testing of the Ballerina services.
Yeah, so yes, that is inbuilt into Ballerina. So we don't use any external tools for that. So that's part of the language and part of the runtime. So we don't use any external library or any framework like that. So there's inbuilt Ballerina test functionality for unit testing and service testing, which we use. So that's why I didn't mention it specifically, because it's not an external thing that we have. It's an inbuilt thing that comes with Ballerina.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Yes.
I was wondering if it doesn't make any sense to you to merge both the EI with Ballerina, like instead of having Java behind the EI, the enterprise integrator, having Ballerina. Is that a possibility? Does that make sense? Will it ever happen? Or on the other way, maybe make Ballerina have some type of UI for make it more approachable for other type of users?
Yeah, I can pause.
I'll take that. So firstly, there is, I mean, we have, as I say, we have a plan to launch a version of EI that includes Ballerina support side by side with the Synapse language. The other thing is that we've talked about decentralized versus centralized, and we've talked about code over config versus config over code. There's a kind of quadrant there. You can have a matrix of combinations. So there may be situations where you actually want to have Ballerina not deployed as microservices, but deployed centrally. For instance, if you had an SAP connector, I would rather that I had all my SAP connections coming from a single place, rather than thousands of microservices all trying to connect in directly to SAP. And so, if I used an SAP connector in Ballerina and I exposed a bunch of SAP services, I'd really like that centrally deployed. So we are thinking about all this, and we certainly have thought about, for instance, having a more ESB flow tool-like view on top of Ballerina. But those are long-term thoughts. There's plenty to keep us busy with this and with the enhancements we have for EI. So
thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, I'd like to say thank you again to Anjana and also to all the speakers today.